Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Our Community Cares. These are live broadcasts that come to you from our DLC Production Center, Team 8. We're really pleased on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays during this crisis to bring to the community some critical information that will help us all cope with these strange new times. And today we're especially privileged to have our relatively new, it's been, I think, a couple of months, Director of Miami-Dade Police Department, Freddy Ramirez, who is a longtime veteran of the police department. So he's not a newbie, but he's new to this particular post. And we'll have an opportunity to hear from him some of the challenges that law enforcement faces during the COVID-19 era, and some of the public safety concerns for the department as well as for the community. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions. So please, you'll be doing that virtually. We will not be opening the mic, so you can put on the upper right side, push, and there's a chat function, and write your questions into chat. We'll be monitoring that and sharing your questions and comments as well with the viewership. This is, as I say, part of an ongoing series. We started last week. We had Rick Beasley from Career Source South Florida. We had Martha Baker from SEIU talking about Jackson Hospital nurses and employees, and we had Wendy Walsh with Unite talking about the hospitality industry workers and airport workers and how each of them have been affected. And Rick Beasley provided a lot of good resources. Martha gave us some insights about what it's like to be on the front lines in the healthcare setting, and Wendy told us about some of the great hardships. As many as 90% of the workers are out of work. So we're delighted that Freddy is our next speaker. And Freddy, if we're going to open to just welcome you and say thank you, because we all depend upon you every day for our safety. And during these trying times, I know you've really stepped up. You've been very adaptive. You're very community oriented. And we're really grateful to all of our first responders who put themselves in harm's way to help all of us. You and our paramedics and our EMT, our firefighters, you are our superheroes. So we start with a special tribute to you. If you could start by telling us what it is like a typical day for a police officer in Miami-Dade County.
Well, first of all, thank you, man. Thank you for inviting me. I love our community, and I always enjoy the opportunity to connect. And I love these innovative ways of doing it. This is outstanding. Now that we gotta have the social distancing and everything, and yeah, very important right now. So I could tell you about how an officer starts his day, because I have one at home and I have one myself. First thing you do is you say goodbye to your family. You kiss them when you walk out, and you walk into the unexpected. You know that you have a job to do. You're dedicated. It's your career. It's your life. You have your peers. You have your community. And it's not really a routine job. And now in today's world, it's even less routine. You know, you're worried about your own well-being, your partner's well-being, your community's well-being. And that pressure is always in the back of your mind. But we have a very resilient department, a very resilient community. And I think that's why we're getting through this together.
Wow, thank you so much for making it real and keeping it real, because of course we rely upon you, we depend upon you, and you have your own trials and tribulations, your own families to be concerned about. And in your case, you even have another law officer in your family. And I know you have children at home, and they're very adorable. They come down to the county commission and they talk to us about some critical health issues, and really it's remarkable. So talk to us about your role during this coronavirus crisis, how it is different from the usual stuff. Did you hear that? Did you freeze? Uh-oh. I think you froze. Okay, come back, Freddy. What do we do? Oh, are you back?
Yes,
okay.
He seems to have frozen.
He seems to have frozen. We know that the whole world has gone Zoom crazy, and we know that we're overtaxing the networks here. Okay, he's gonna, I guess, call right back. Okay, just a reminder to everybody, remember you're all visible, so unless you cover your little cameras there, we see you. Okay, is he back? No, he's not back. Oh dear.
No.
No.
Mia, can you reach out, please, to have him rejoin?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll fill in a little bit here by telling you about Friday's show. So Friday, because again, we're Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 o'clock. Friday, we're very privileged that Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Freed, our statewide commissioner, will be joining us. And we'll be talking about agricultural issues, which are very important here in Miami-Dade County, because agriculture is still our number 2 force in the economy. But it's critical to all of us as we rely on local food more and more in these difficult times. So we are going to talk to her about that. And her office is not only responsible for overseeing agriculture, but also public consumer affairs, consumer protection, and gun issues, gun safety. So that's going to be, something really different. And we're going to talk to her about some of her efforts to focus on coronavirus protection. Also, they are over nutrition. And so they have a role to play in the school food program. So it's quite a diverse set of responsibilities. And he is back. Welcome back, Director. Thank you, Director. So if you could tell us what is different in the environment for a police officer today in the coronavirus world.
Well, like I was saying earlier, I think that we're writing this book together as a community and a department. This is something that we've never really faced, that I've been in 25 years of policing. So this has different unique factors. And for us is that we're walking the line of keeping our community safe from the typical threats of violence, and at the same time, this health scare. So our officers are walking that balance in which we're trying to inform the community. We're out there, we're trying to build off of the bond that we've created to inform the community so that they're safe, our officers are safe, and at the same time, provide the services that we do every day. So it's definitely a unique challenge, but we're getting through it. And every day is a new day and a new challenge. And we're learning from it as we go. And I think forums like this and discussing the experiences that we're all having, I think it helps us for the future moving forward. But it's definitely an interesting time right now.
Right. So you have to learn your own safety issues from a health perspective, right? What are you doing to protect the health of your officers?
Number one, I brought some props. All our officers are, protective equipment, which is the mask, hand sanitizer, gloves. This is a more advanced component, which is that they put over their body. We practice, obviously, the CDC guidelines, not only for regular public, for law enforcement as well. And we have a 24-hour hotline. Commissioner, you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay,
you're good.
Good. The screen changed. We also have a wellness hotline for our officers as well, where we document any probable exposures or they have any questions so they feel at ease. And we can also provide information to the community. I mean, that we're trying to, and one of the biggest components is to inform our officers, inform our personnel, so that they're well informed and they know what to do, training and information. As we get information, we put it out to the officers. And
I understand at a number of these testing sites, we've prioritized our first responders, right? So if you needed to be tested, you would have access to that.
Correct, because I need to maintain the workforce. That's the balance. I have to protect them, and I move forward that we have first responders out there. So it's such a balance, really.
Right. And how has it changed your arrest practices?
Really, right now, our focus is high visibility and information. I mean, when we have to do an arrest, we'll do it. We still got to enforce the laws, especially with violent crime, but our focus is a balanced approach, which is connecting with the community, building off of our bond, building information, high visibility and responsiveness. So that's what we're balancing.
And how is it reflected in our arrest data? Are we?
They're probably lower, man, because there's less people out on the street, so there's less contacts. And what we're doing is having more of a visibility. So that does affect that. And I'm not doing any large scale operations or anything. Everything is very strategic, very built towards the needs of the community right now. Responsiveness.
And we were talking earlier about how you've been able to redeploy some of the officers to more of that visibility, high visibility. Can you tell us how that's happening? Who are you calling upon that didn't used to do this work?
Oh, a lot of our investigative units, I've had them come in uniform. The main crimes like homicide, our sexual battery bureau, robbery bureau are still in their footing as they normally do. Because that's our critical all our units are critical, but that's like the big ones. The rest of the investigative entities, they're working in a uniform capacity, and they're out there. I send them on missions for whatever tips that may come from your office or concerns. They go and address it and make sure the social distancing and things like that. So we're really all hands on deck, and we're very fluid. I'm working now with school board. School board police is helping me out for the parks and schools as well. So, we build off of partnerships. I communicate a lot with the Dade chiefs, with the city of Miami, Miami Beach,
Great.
and we share information as well. But it's really collaborative effort.
And one of the points I like to make is because traffic is down, you can redeploy some of your traffic officers to these new functions. It's more about people traffic and less about car traffic, correct?
Get it on the nose. Absolutely. Absolutely. Going to the park areas, the sidewalks, and even when I'm off duty, I'll roll down my window and I'll say, hey, you can't be in the park. I'll say, nice. I feel terrible doing it, but these are very important times, and we all have to work together.
That's right. And we were talking earlier about how you're enforcing these rules. So it's, as you say, more about education, more of warnings. But what about stores and things that have to enforce the 6 feet separation and so on? How are you dealing with that?
Well, what we do is we try not to be so intrusive that we deal with the customers. What I've instructed my officers with the guidance of our legal department, that I make sure that our officers are knowledgeable and are working within the laws. We go right to the management and deal with them. We talk to them. We tell them, listen, you gotta change your business practice to address these issues so you don't get closed. And I give them the opportunity to correct it. I'll come back a second time, but now we're in a point where most businesses are in compliance. But those that don't comply, they're getting to that point that they may get closed because I have to look for the well-being of the community. And I don't want to have to do that. But I must say today, especially because we came out today with a bit of a firmer tone, but I'm pleasantly surprised to report that a lot of the businesses have really conformed. You see the tape on the floor and the coffee stands. Those are really the ones, it's no fault of their own. It's the situation that we're in. The coffee stands now have the tapes to line people up, a certain amount of customers, the grocery stores as well, some of the construction sites as well. We've had to talk to them, tell them, listen, you need to practice social distancing. It's important because if you don't, we're gonna have to close you for the greater good of the community. But I must admit, like I said earlier, the community is responsive, and we're doing it together, and we're doing it gently because I don't want the community to lose trust in my officers. We've worked very hard to build that, and I don't want to lose that.
Very good. And of course, it's a cooperative venture, like you say, and it depends on personal responsibility each in the community. And you're finding a high level of cooperation, as I understand.
Yes.
Okay. And what about if somebody does see a violation that they'd like to report, how do they do that?
Yes, 305 for police. Call us and let us know. We'll dispatch officers to it, and we'll.
And so that's the non-emergency number, right? Just 305, the number 4, and then spell out police, right?
The best way. And and then we'll address it. Because we can't be everywhere. I know that there's stuff that comes out. They'll show a store or somebody that's not practicing, but we can't be everywhere. So the information from the community is key for us to be very strategic and getting that message out and talking to the management and the proprietors to tell them, look, this is serious. This is a global pandemic. This is nothing to be taken lightly.
Right. And have you had to issue any warnings yet or any violations?
Yeah. We've issued warnings. We haven't made an arrest. It's been warnings and education. I'm not going in there with that posture. Today we're firmer, but fortunately we haven't had any issues that I'm aware of right now. Okay, I don't have a for that, which to me, I'm glad.
Yeah, of course, we're all glad because we're all in this together and everybody's putting themselves out. It's not only for their personal health, but basically it impacts the whole community's health. Everything.
We're to that now where those who already are not complying, we have to be firmer with, because now, it's affecting the greater good of the community. And I don't want other businesses feeling like they're slighted. We got to be fair across the board. Everybody's got to work together now. We're at that point now.
Right. Thank you. So what about the officers themselves? Obviously, all of us are experiencing emotional ups and downs from this situation. It's very difficult psychologically to be cooped up, to have to be distant physically, to be scared about our health and the health of our loved ones. So how are the officers coping, and what can you do to help them?
Well, our officers are coping because they're trained to handle these serious situations, but there is that human element for them, you know? It's a human, even for me, I was supposed to be the serious director, and, you know, I worry for my officer, I worry for myself, I worry for my family at home. But, you know, the best thing is communication. We have a strong wellness program, officer wellness program, that we've been pushing out and informing our officers as best we can, dispel rumors. Sometimes the rumors from the outside make their way into the department and scares people. So communication is key all the way around, making them feel assured. And we address each situation. We give them resources for information.
Very good. Okay, let's turn a little bit to some of your policies, like on for the immigrant community or undocumented community. Obviously, this has been a great concern because we know we do have people that are maybe fearful, especially with the new ICE enforcement and so on. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're handling that?
We don't act as an immigration enforcement agency. We do not do that. We serve everyone in the community. We're not part of that component. That's not what we do. We police the whole community. We serve everyone. And we don't want anybody to feel afraid to call the police or ask for help, especially in these dire times. And we rely very much on people like our CVOs and those individuals who speak for those communities, you know, that some that are afraid to come out, to get that information out to them. We are not out there looking for your immigration status, nor will we ever be. That's not what we do.
Yeah, and we did work together on this a few years back to make it very clear in your policies that exactly what you're saying, that the intent is not to create fear because you want people to feel comfortable reporting, and you're not operating as the immigration office. So thank you for that clarity. So what would you say we need to do for public safety? Anything additional, anything different in these times?
The best thing is awareness, listening to the CDC reports that come out, following the guidelines that are put out there, the mayor's messages, your messages, all the county leaders are putting the messaging out there. And if you see things that are in contrary to that, to call us so that we can mitigate it quickly. It's information sharing and policing ourselves together, because this is not a police thing, this is a community thing. It's actually a nation thing right now, a world thing. So we all have to work together so we could get through this quickly and have our lives back to normal. But if we don't work together and get this done, this is just going to prolong more and more and more. And I'd hate to see that.
Yeah, let me just mention that I did not acknowledge earlier that we have the new major for Hammocks district on the call with us. Thank you so much. That's Major John Barrow. So thank you for joining us. And he is the new major. We're looking forward to getting to know him. That's part of our coverage area in District 8. So welcome, sir. Happy to have you. Oh, good. Look, we unmuted your mic. Is there anything you'd like to add to the comments that the director has made?
Well, no, the director summed up our process and our policies well. I'm just, I'll add that I'm here to continue that vision and to make sure that this district, has the best response that we can have for this pandemic that we're going through. And I'm also always available if anyone ever needs me.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I think we have some of our members of our community advisory committees, our CACs, and each of the police districts has one, and we have very active participation of our residents. So I want to especially acknowledge and thank all of those volunteers who partner with our police in the neighborhood. Thank you. So to go back to our director, there's been a lot in the news about the need for people to self-isolate for 14 days. Particularly when they're coming from New York area, right? The tri-state area. And, this is being told them as they're coming in at the airport. What is the role that the Miami-Dade Police Department has in enforcing that?
Really, the health department is handling that, and the state agencies at the airport, we're just there as support. We don't really get involved in that. Most people are complying. We're only there for, God forbid, if there's a problem, which there hasn't been, but that's more of a health department issue.
Okay, so you're not on the case of of enforcing that? I know this has come up before. How will we enforce that directive?
Right? Like I said, it's being handled by the whatever, the systems that are put in by the governor, and they have the health providers there. I know they have members of the National Guard that are handling that. There hasn't been any issues that I'm aware of, and our officers are there for support, and we haven't had any problems, and we're not really intervening. We haven't had any reason to. It's a health department issue.
Okay. Now, I wanted to say the number, the 3054 police, if you could say the numbers for those who don't have a phone with the letters.
It's 354-76-5423.
476 5423. Okay, very good. So please, everyone, make note of that. Okay. People are asking about the testing. Now, I know that's not your responsibility per se, but you, I know, have officers at the test sites, correct? Are there any particular issues from a public safety or law enforcement perspective around these drive-through test sites?
No, the reports I'm getting, they're working fine. Our officers are only there to assist for traffic and, for the flow of traffic. And we really haven't, that I'm aware of, any serious issues there. It's been flowing fine.
Okay. And we have been posting that kind of resource information on our Facebook page, and we've been sending out emails to our constituents. So please check back with my office if you have any questions. And by the way, our phone, which we're fully operational, we're working very well remotely. Our phone number is 305-378-6677. So again, 305-378-6677. And our staff is ready, willing, and very eager to assist and help people navigate all of this. What about economic crimes? Are you seeing any change in the incidents or kinds of economic crimes at this point?
No, I haven't been advised of any, but however, I know that Kathy Rundle has that component in her enforcement strategy, and they're vigilant over that. And any reports of that obviously would come to our police departments, and it would be mitigated through our Economic Crimes Bureau. But right now, I haven't been privy to any information where it's running rampant right now.
Okay. Another matter, which I know is not your direct responsibility, but we know that there's a concern about the jails and the ability for the virus to spread rapidly through an enclosed population. And so we will bring in Director Daniel Jr. to talk about that, hopefully at another point. But this is one of the reasons we want to keep arrests down, because we really, we have the physical capacity under the old circumstances, but under new circumstances with the social distancing, we really can't additional, correct? Anything you want to say about that?
Here to support us, but right, our mission right now, as I said earlier, is high visibility, public safety, and we enforce the laws, but there are other measures like PTAs and civil citation and other mediums that we could use for the lesser crimes to avoid that situation.
Okay, and we do have a number of crimes that have, now we have the possibility. Could you name some of the things where we can use civil citation instead of an arrest, as was previously the case? I mean, certainly. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of the nuisance type crimes or civil citations, it would be more of a public nuisance, where before it would have been a PTA, even some of the misdemeanor level marijuana, things of that nature that we've been doing anyways. I mean, I think that we're one of the trailblazers with the civil citations here in Miami-Dade County, led by Commissioner Heyman. So I know you're a big advocate as well. So,
yes.
We've always been putting.
Okay, and please, everybody, we're going to be wrapping up at 4:30. We have 6 more minutes. So if you've got any questions, I do note that it was said, let's see, please call first if you think, this is internal. We're answering questions on the chat as well. We do have Doug Hanks on the line from the Miami Herald. Thank you, Doug, for being with us and for your very comprehensive coverage of our county news. And now you've recently been assigned on the coronavirus beat, and lots to cover there. So he did ask, and I asked you, oh, you're gonna open his mic?
Would that be appropriate?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, Director, thanks so much for your time. Could you clarify where we are on enforcement with businesses? You said you were pleasantly surprised at how well they're complying. But we heard the day of action today. What's prompting the day of action?
The day of action, because the businesses that aren't complying, we've been logging the businesses that we've been seeing and keeping connections with them. But we're to that point right now where we can't have repeat offenders. We got to get firmer. But fortunately, like I said, pleasantly surprised, a lot of the businesses, we haven't had any issues. We haven't made any arrests. So obviously the dialogue is going very well with the community. A lot of them have already, from what the people are reporting to me from the field, they've made the appropriate adjustments. And look, and our goal here, all of us together, and I believe the business community as well, is compliance. It's very difficult. We're living in a new world that we're not used to. But really, they've been complying. You go to all the businesses, see the tape on the floor, the signs, everything. They're doing their best.
Right.
We're trying to be patient, but we're to that point where we got to stop. We can't have any more spreading. But yes, we did come up with a firmer posture today.
Yes.
Today we're to that point. But like I said, we got a great community.
All right. Well, thank you, Doug, and thank you, Director. It's very reassuring. The status now is calm, and we want to keep it that way. And you are a veteran of the department. You've been in community policing. Like you said, it's visibility that's so important, the trust factor. Everybody is in this together. And, we have a great deal of confidence in you that you'll be able to continue to keep us mindful of our neighbors. All of this is about getting through this really difficult time together. We don't know how long it will be with us, but unfortunately it's going to be, however long it is, will be too long. So we'd like to be back to normal. And we're learning together how to deal with all of this. And so actually I was about to wrap it up, but I'm being told there is one more question. Is there? No, I do not see another question. So let me make clear, this interview will be posted via YouTube on our Facebook page. We want to encourage others to go back and listen. And we have more guest speakers coming. On Friday, we will have our State Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Freed, and she'll be talking about some enforcement issues as well, around consumer protection, around agriculture, around gun issues, and we're excited. We're excited. Somebody's telling me there's a question in the chat. I'm looking, folks. I don't see it. Okay.
Commissioner, so did you see it?
No, go ahead.
Al is asking, is police questioning citizens as to where they are traveling to? There's a stay-home order. I deliver food and needed supplies for my extended family.
Okay. So very good. So what about people who are out and about doing what are called the essential functions, which includes food delivery? Director, how do you handle that? How do you question people? How do you enforce?
No, we don't. Our biggest enforcement right now is the social distancing with, the business plans of the businesses. That's what we're focusing on. We're not in a full-blown curfew or any situation like that would require measures like that. We're not doing that. And the order states people can go get food and do what they need to do. It's just making sure that everybody's mindful of the social distancing and things of that nature. No congregation of groups of people, things like that.
Okay, so basically we are not stopping people to ask them when they're by themselves, what is their business? So very good. So we still are enjoying our freedoms. We just can't do it together. We have to do it alone. We have to have our freedoms one at a time. All right, thank you so very much, Director. It's been a pleasure to have you. You communicate your passion for our community and for the well-being, and your personal authentic love for your force, and we are grateful to you. So with that, we will sign off and be safe and strong.
Thank you. Bye.
Everybody. Bye-bye.